welcome back to another episode of Sex Here and Now. 2026 is still rolling along, and I am keeping my promise to all of you by bringing you at least one episode a week. As always, I am Matt Lockman. I'm a licensed clinical therapist and ASEX certified sex therapist. We are back, we are motivated, and we are ready to continue to talk about all things sex and relationships. Before we get into this episode, I want to acknowledge you, dear listener. Whether you are here for the first time, a long-time listener, at the beginning of your day, or listening to this when I typically listen to podcasts, driving or doing the dishes, I want to thank you for being here. This podcast only works with you listening, so I appreciate it. All right, so today I wanted to chat about a pretty fun topic and something that impacts literally all of us, and it's why you probably aren't having sex. Or if you are, why it's way less than you think it should be. Before you spiral or start blaming yourself, your partner, your libido, your hormones, or the phase of the moon, let me say this clearly. This is not a personal failure. This is a systems problem. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you 5 solid reasons why people don't have sex. These are not clickbait reasons. These are not shame reasons. These are just real, grounded human reasons as to why it's really hard for us to show up in our intimate lives. And I should note that if you hear yourself in any of these, congratulations. You are normal. Now, let's start with the one I see most frequently in my office, talking to friends, and in my DMs. The main reason you are not having sex is because you don't talk about sex. And I mean actually talk about it, not joking about it, not hinting at it, not hoping your partner magically reads your mind. People are not having sex because they are not communicating about sex. Most couples or polyamorous folk can talk about bills, schedules, vacations, family drama, and what to eat for dinner for the rest of their lives. But the moment it comes to desire, fantasies, needs, insecurities, or changes in libido, everyone shuts down. Why? Well, because talking about sex requires vulnerability. It requires saying things like, I miss you. I miss feeling wanted. I don't know what I like anymore. I'm afraid you're going to take this personally. I want something different than I used to. All of that shit is scary. So instead of talking, people avoid. They assume. They silently resent. They wait for the other person to bring it up, and then months or years go by, and suddenly no one knows how to start the conversation without it feeling like an accusation or a crisis. I tell my clients all the time, do not let this turn into a monster, because it will. A big, nasty monster that's going to live under your bed and pop out the moment you even think about being intimate with your partner. So, if you want more sex or even better sex, communication is not optional. Can I hear all of you say that? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Communication is not optional. It's fundamental. Next, we need to talk something that goes hand in hand with communication, and that is vulnerability. If you aren't prioritizing vulnerability, then this is not going to work. This one sneaks up on people all the time. Early in relationships, vulnerability is everywhere. We're curious, we're open, we're asking questions, we explore each other emotionally and sexually. There's playfulness, there's risk, there's novelty. And then life happens. Work stress, kids, health issues, trauma, burnout, grief, aging. The body changes, the relationship changes. And instead of leaning into vulnerability, people start protecting themselves. They stop sharing their fears. They stop sharing their desires. Help. They stop asking for reassurance. Without vulnerability, sex becomes mechanical or just disappears entirely. Because sex is not just a physical act, it is an emotional risk. It is saying, here I am. This is me. Do you still want me? When vulnerability isn't prioritized, desire dries up, not because people don't love each other, but because they don't feel emotionally exposed or emotionally met anymore. And I think that's that piece right there. We need to prioritize vulnerability. And a way to do that is to just keep talking about sex. If you do weekly check ins or monthly check ins with each other about your relationship or about bills, add sex into it. I promise you that monster will not grow any bigger. If you want to know one thing a sex therapist hates, it is when clients say, I just need to make sure I'm in the right mood to engage. If you're waiting for the right mood, that mood is never going to come. This is huge, and it's really misunderstood. Many people believe that sex should start with spontaneous desire. You should just feel horny out of nowhere, and then sex magically happens. I tell clients all the time, do you know how rare it is for one person to be sitting there and to go, oh my God, I want to have sex. And look at the other person, and that person goes, oh my God, I also want to have sex at this exact same moment. That doesn't happen. While spontaneous desire does work for some people, the reality is most of us are responsive, especially the longer that we're in relationships and the older we get. Desire often follows connection, not the other way around. If you are exhausted, stressed, disconnected, resentful, emotionally distant, you just kind of fight with your partner, your body is not going to jump into arousal mode. It's protecting you. People stop having sex because they're waiting for a feeling that shows up after intimacy begins. Sometimes you don't want sex until you start touching. We say arousal does not have to precede sex. I can just be neutral and my partner can say, you want to have sex? And I can be like, okay, God, yeah. I mean, I guess I do. I could. I mean, I don't really want to, but I guess I could. I mean, I could. Yeah, let's have sex. And then while we're having it, boom, there's arousal. Sometimes you don't want sex until you start touching. Sometimes desire shows up during closeness. Sometimes it shows up after feeling emotionally safe. Waiting around to magically feel horny is one of the fastest ways to not have sex. All right. Next up, let's talk about something that I know most of you have experienced, and that is resentment. So if you're carrying unspoken resentment, this quietly just chips away and kills your sex life. Resentment about chores, resentment about emotional labor, resentment about parenting, resentment about past hurts that were never repaired. Yeah, if you're carrying resentment, you probably don't want to have sex with that person. That math ain't mathin'. And here's the thing. You can love someone deeply and still not want to have sex with them. I love my friends deeply, and I would rather do anything but have sex with them because sex and love are different. Your nervous system remembers unresolved conflict. Your body does not forget being dismissed or ignored, or criticized or invalidated. So when someone says, I just don't feel sexual anymore, often what that really means is I don't feel emotionally safe, seen, or supported to have sex with you. Sex does not exist in a vacuum. It lives inside the emotional ecosystem of the relationship. If resentment is present, desire struggles to survive. So now let me wrap up with my favorite one. My favorite reason why people don't have sex. And that is because they do not prioritize it anymore. This is not a judgment, it's an observation. I've seen it with clients, I've seen it within myself. People prioritize what matters to them, period. That doesn't mean sex has to be the most important thing in your life, but if it is always at the bottom of the list, it slowly disappears. Work comes first, kids come first, phones come first, sleep comes first. Who's coming in that instance? Sex moves down the list and becomes something that you'll get to eventually. The problem is, intimacy doesn't maintain itself. It requires intention, planning, energy, curiosity, sometimes even scheduling. Yes, for the love of God, stop rolling your eyes. It is okay to schedule sex. People don't stop having sex because they're broken. They stop having sex because nothing is protecting that space anymore. And when sex disappears, people often don't grieve it until it's been gone for a long time. And I don't want that to be you. Listen, as I wrap up, if you're not having sex or not having the kind of sex you want, it doesn't mean your relationship is doomed. It means something needs attention. What is it? Communication, vulnerability, emotional repair, intentionality. Sex is not about performance or frequency. It's about connection. And connection takes work, especially in long term relationships. And if this hit close to home, you are not alone. You can rebuild intimacy. It starts with honest conversations and the willingness to be a little uncomfortable for the sake of something better. All right, so that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, you can reach out to me via Instagram at Cleveland Sex Therapy. Any questions you have, any thoughts, and please comment, rate, review, pass this along. I'm sure you have friends out there who are not having sex and wondering why. So be safe out there, and I will talk to you all soon.